Welcome to the Glenn Beck program. I don't think I've ever done this before on language on this program, but I have to give you a warning. Some of the material on today's show, especially towards the bottom of the hour, may be inappropriate for family viewing. It does contain offensive language, and believe it or not, we have to start with some that actually comes from the president. We have bleeped it out. I'm not going to show you this because of the A word that he used in this, the bad language. I don't want you to watch it for that. I want to ask the question, who is he talking to? Is this presidential? Was he sending a message to you? Because when he did this the other day, he was sending a message, but to whom? Watch it. Here it is.
I don't sit around just talking to experts because this is a college seminar. We talk to these folks because they potentially had the best answers, so I know who's to kick.
I've never heard a president say that. Maybe if he was talking about war, maybe if he was talking about a football game, but I don't think I've ever seen that in an interview. With a sitting president? This isn't the kind of thing that resonates with typical Americans. Americans are put off by that. They don't want to hear that. They know that the president should be looking for justice, not to whoop somebody's, okay? President is there to uphold and defend the Constitution. So he wouldn't be sending that message to you. So who is he sending that message to? I think I know. Next. Hello, America. Tonight's program is going to require some homework. It's stuff actually I gave to you last year. But now I think you'll see it in a new light. Something is changing. If the president did, I know I'm not alone. When you saw that with the president talking, it bothered me. Something wasn't right. And he's not talking to you and me. Who's he talking to? Now, we've had this audio here for the last couple of days, but now I know who he's talking to. Something happened this weekend that I saw things that I've taught you in a different way. And I want to clarify some things. I ask you to stick with the whole program today because I want to clarify a couple of things because there's a really big split happening inside the Democratic Party. I want to start here. I want to listen to some of the voices that are complaining. Rosie O'Donnell, this was yesterday. I want you to truly listen to this. Don't dismiss her, please. Here's Rosie O'Donnell listen to what she said about taking over BP.
I say seize their assets.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
Seize their assets today. Take over the country. I don't care. Issue an executive order. Say BP, guess what? Call it socialism, call it communism, call it anything you want. Let's watch Rush Limbaugh explode on TV when he talks. Seize the assets. Take over BP.
Right.
Okay, America. Executive order to seize the assets of a company and take it over. British Petroleum. Wow. And she has no problem call it communism. Okay. We've heard this language before, but there's starting to be a chorus now. I want to show you where I first heard this kind of language. It was from Bill Maher.
You can't get Americans to agree on anything. 60%. 60% of people don't believe in evolution in this country. He just needs to drag them to it.
Okay. He went on to just drag them to it because people are stupid. All right. Seize the assets. Take the stupid people and just drag them to these policies. And now capitalism and not even a capitalism, but our free market system. If we can issue an executive order, free market is done. But that seems to be okay with the radicals. Here's Andy Stern this week.
America needs a 21st century economic plan because we now know the market-worshipping, privatizing, deregulating, dehumanizing American financial plan has failed and should never be revived, worshiping the market again. It has failed America and everyone that works here.
The privatizing free market has failed. No, greed has failed. Greed has failed. But that's a problem in all of us. Okay. This is the beginning who Obama is sending a message to. These are the most obvious signs. Andy Stern is in a different. Bill Maher, please. Rosie O'Donnell, same thing. But they are the first to expose it. I think we're ready to go back to something I told you about a year ago, Storm and the Invisible Committee, because now you're beginning to see, and something has shifted this week in the far left fringe. Remember, we are talking about Marxist revolutionaries, the ones the president has surrounded himself. He's got enough Marxist revolutionaries. That's who he's speaking to, because he has to pacify them because they are angry. And they, look, he has put himself out there and he has said, I'm your man. Whether he is a politician or a Marxist, you have to decide. But if he's just a politician, he has gotten in with some nasty people. So now he has to convince them, no, I'm still with you. Otherwise, they eat him. So he'll kick some ass and drag them to it. Now, it's important that you understand here, I'm not talking about everybody in the Democratic Party. A lot of people were just silent and stood there and did nothing. Some people still don't see it. But we're not talking about the politicians or Democrats. We are talking on this program about Marxist revolutionary. And I told you that masks would eventually come off and they would admit to who they are. Here it is. It's only a matter of time before this collapses. But it's a dangerous time, because that's going to frustrate the other side. And they will become more and more desperate. They already are taking the mask off. Okay. Are they collapsing? No. But they are at the zenith of their power. Did you see the elections last night? You think that the Democrats are stronger or weaker with the elections? Do you think they will have more power in November than they do right now? No. And the revolutionaries know it, and they say, you have the power, take it, because they're not going to get any stronger. The rhetoric that has been happening in Washington that no one is reporting on this week, the rhetoric, the masks are being taken off. And that is who he is addressing, because that is a large part of who he is surrounded with. Radical revolutionaries. It's why I told you on this program, this president is in danger when it starts to fall apart. Watch. The most dangerous time in any regime, especially a revolutionary regime, is when it is on the verge of collapse. A regime with revolutionaries in it, it is trouble. The Democratic Party is collapsing. It's either going to have to renew itself or it's going to collapse, and it is chock full of revolutionaries. Okay. This is the point here, and only reasonable people that don't have a horse in this race will listen. The Democratic Party is tearing itself apart. They have gone in, and I'll show you later in the hour, they have gone in and they have masqueraded as Democrats. To quote Van Jones, they have dropped the radical pose for the radical ends. Well, to them, now is the time for the radical to come out. Now is the time. You're close. Think of the fundamental transformation that has already happened so far. Barack Obama took office. We have more changes than FDR made, according to all possible sources. You've got more changes, fundamental transformation than FDR. Healthcare, government takeovers on car companies, banks, insurance companies. You've got, when they pass financial regulation, 70% of our economy will run by the government. And those Democrats like Van Jones, those Democrats like Andy Stern, those Democrats like Code Pink, they're mad, they're angry. You got 70% of the economy in a year and a half. What is it that you want? Where does that end? This is where the light bulb turned on for me this weekend. You remember this chart? I've shown you this chart a million times, and I've shown you that total government is here. Left and right is actually up and down. Communist, Nazis, up and down, okay? Left and right is anarchy, as our founders understood it. Anarchy total government. This was the king in their day. This was just the states can't live with each other. They're hassling each other. The society is breaking down. We have moved up and down this scale over the years, okay? And then this weekend, I was doing some research on something else, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. It's not anarchy like this. It is anarchy like that. Have you ever heard of the Black Flag movement?